Okay, Eve. So I'm going to try and explain this to you as best I can. So basically, or if you don't feel like this is enough, you can drop in and see. But basically, the question 3, which says Cairns and Melbourne are this far apart, they're both on the same meridian. If latitude of Cairns is this, find the latitude of Melbourne. So first thing we know is that we're given the distance, but we need to know which Earth geometry formula to use, whether it's distance equals 111.2 times angular distance or 111.2 cos of theta times angular distance. So the trick is that it tells you that it's on the same meridian. I think you already know that. So we use if it's same meridian, it's a great circle. So we're just going to use the distance equals 111.2 times angular distance. So if I jump over to the work solutions, okay, that's why this formula was chosen. You substitute in the value for distance and the value for 111.2. You use inverse operations to move the 111.2 to the other side by dividing, and then you find that the angular distance is 20.9. So what we know is that when we usually have a question where they don't give us the distance, they give us the longitude and latitude of two coordinates. What we usually know is that if those coordinates, for example, if it's longitude, let's say, if it says, 65 east, 35 west, we know that we need to add those numbers together because they're east and west. If I said 65 east and 110 east, we know that we would subtract because they're both on the east side. So knowing that, we can then go back to the question quickly, okay? And it says that Cairns is 17 degrees south. Okay, so we know that Cairns is 17 degrees south. So what is the latitude of Melbourne? Now, a basic understanding of geography, you should know that Cairns is in Queensland and Melbourne is in Victoria. So Melbourne is further south than Cairns. Okay, so knowing that Melbourne is further south, that means that the latitude of Melbourne is going to be something degrees south, okay, because it's further south than Cairns, and it's actually going to be a bigger number than 17, okay, because it's further south. So it can't be 17 or smaller because it is further south. Okay, so to work it out, when you have two latitudes, when you have two latitudes that are both south, as I explained before, if I just get maybe this up quickly, okay, so here's my compass, okay, that's Cairns at 17 south, which means Melbourne's somewhere down here, which is further south. Okay, so Melbourne, Cairns at 17 south. Okay, so when we have two latitudes both south, we know we will subtract that to find the angular difference. So that is why in the solutions we subtracted. Okay, so all you really need to know is that if we subtracted the 17 degrees of Cairns, to move to the other side, we need to add. Okay, so we move it to the other side by using inverse operations. So that's why it goes across and adds 17. And then we know that Melbourne's latitude is 37.9 because that subtract 17 gives you 20.9, which is the angular distance. Okay, so I hope that helped. And come and send me another email or come and see me if it didn't make sense. Okay, actually, before I finish pausing it, I might just quickly jump to latitude and longitude. So this worksheet here, the latitude and longitude worksheet, that question is actually very similar to this one. Okay, if you read, Cairns and Griffith are this far apart, they're both on the same meridian. If the latitude of Cairns is this, find the latitude of Griffith. But then this question tells you that Griffith is south of Cairns. So when this one just gives you a tiny bit more info so that you know, if it's south and that's south, I'll take away again. Okay, whereas the last question didn't give you that little extra, okay, because Cairns and Melbourne are two commonly known places that you should know. What I will say is that if this question was in the exam, they would definitely at least give you this little extra bit of information on the end rather than just relying on your geographical knowledge. Okay, so I hope that helped. Email me if you need.